Section 19. Accessory after the fact. I was in my office recalling how my IPO had almost gotten me into trouble when the school's storekeeper was brought in. I had requested to see her to further interview her about the acid attack case. I was concluding my interview with her when an officer from IT knocked and walked in with my IPO's phone. He wanted to know the indicting information I would have their department retrieve from the said phone, but he had overheard me ask the storekeeper, "Are you honestly telling me your office have no records of returns of empty bottles of acid?" "Forgive me, sir, but is this the case of the acid attack?" the guy from IT asked. I responded in the affirmative. He told me he had been assigned to monitor the case and give recommendations regarding anything related to IT which would help add value to the case or aid the detectives. He pointed out that when he studied all the data collected on the case, he noticed that the last IT guy who had followed me to the school stored some of the school's documents in the cloud. That was part of their forensic procedures whenever they visited crime scenes. He asked why I needed the file showing that the acid jar was missing. I explained to him that for us to establish that one of the empty bottles of acid was not returned, it had to reflect in the school records. And as such, the school records would corroborate the fact that the empty jar labeled H was actually the container used to move the acid in question. The IT guy produced his laptop and fired it up. He clicked on a file marked Acid Attack. Then he clicked on an icon marked Cloud. A lot of documents appeared on the screen. He located a file marked Empty Acid Bottle. An Excel sheet popped up showing all the empty acid bottles that were returned. The one labeled letter H was not accounted for. I requested to see all the suspects in the case. When they came into my office, I separated them and interrogated them one by one till Desola opened up that she saw Alima come out of a particular hostel with a bucket containing the acid. This suggested that the empty bottle of the said acid, marked H, must have been with an occupant of that hostel. When the storekeeper saw the direction the case was headed, she reasoned that in no time she would be exposed. So she raised her hand. Sir, I have something to say, sir, she said with a shameful demeanor. "Are you ready to tell us the truth?" I asked her. Yes, sir, I am. She confessed that it was the school authority that forced her to tamper with the record. I glared at her in anger. "What? Do you know that you did not just tamper with school records? You tampered with police investigation, and that's a serious offense." I asked the IPO to take her confessional statement, which he did in accordance with subsection 4 of section 15 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which empowers us to use audio-visual recording. Then I asked the IPO to prepare a team of mobile policemen for a trip to the scene of the crime. Two of the suspects, the storekeeper and Desola, were also taken along. When we got to the crime scene, I instructed the IT guy to run a scan on Alima's phone and retrieve all the call logs from the day the acid jar labeled H left the school store to when the acid attack was carried out. He was able to generate 15 different numbers that constantly called within the time frame. The phone numbers were printed out, and then we all went straight to the porter's office of the hostel Desola had confessed Alima got the bucket of acid from. The IT guy accessed the porter's desktop computer and located a file called Hostel Occupants. When he clicked on it, an Excel sheet popped up. The hostel consisted of 100 rooms, with 3 students in each room. The IT guy cross-referenced the 15 phone numbers with 300 students in the hostel. He worked his magic and soon narrowed it down to 3 students. Using a landline in the porter's office, the 3 students were instructed to report to the porter's office immediately. The moment they entered, a female police officer attached to a nearby police station searched the 3 of them. Their phones were recovered and handed to the IT guy, who worked his magic again, and all the messages sent within the time period I specified earlier came up on the screen of his laptop. Based on the contents of the messages, our main suspect was singled out. Despite having deleted certain aspects of the messages, the IT guy was able to retrieve them. The retrieved text messages led us to where she hid the empty bottle labeled H. The female police officer read her rights, and then she was handcuffed. I walked up to her and said, "You are hereby placed under arrest for committing an offense of accessory after the fact, which is an offense contrary to Section 19 of the Criminal Laws of Lagos State 2015. As we packed up to return to the office, the school management came at us, threatening to sue the police. Their reason wasn't far-fetched. I figured they knew I was onto them, based on the storekeeper's conduct regarding destruction of police exhibit."
This work of fiction is a production of COSPEAKS, composed and written by Chidi Okoye, narrated by Ikenna Igwe, sound production by Glaze Entertainment, graphics by Illustroking Creatives, video production by Chachi World Entertainment, video editing by Steveni Beleche Triple Nolly TV, technical support by Kings Media. Thank you for viewing.